a look at
This is Beyond the Music. And good evening, everybody. Gavin here with you. It's my turn to host Beyond the Music. And we are pleased and thrilled to have Mr. Colton Kise, country music phenomenon. That's how we're billing you.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Of course, you're kind of a veteran here, right?
Well,
you know how many times?
I've been here timer 5, maybe.
A timer 5, yeah. Well, that's great. I'm glad we're able to get you on this show, and you got some shows coming up too, don't you?
Yes, I do. Actually, I am playing music 7 nights this week, including,
Wow.
well, of course, tonight I'm here on the radio, and
Right.
but yeah, every other night this week, all the way up to Sunday night, I am doing what I love, playing music for people.
Beautiful, beautiful. And in the music business, they call it paying your dues, right?
That's true. You got to pay your dues.
Yep, that's how you do it. You want to start us off with a tune, and then we'll get more in depth.
Yeah, sure. We can do a tune for you.
Alrighty. This is Colton Kise here on Beyond the Music, here on 100.9 WCHQ.
Shoot me a double bartender. Well, I know I need to go. It's a late night in November. The weather's getting cold. Well, she left me last weekend, sitting right here on this stool. That's a good enough reason to just get drunk and play some pool. I'm not sad because she left me. In fact, I drink in celebration for the good Lord up above, freedom of this nation. All the times I bought her beer and all that money that I spent, you think she'd have the common courtesy to take the trash out when she went? The more I think, the more I see her. The more I drink, the more I find she's a liar and deceiver. I open the window, close the blind. She remembered to close the front door and shut out that kitchen light. But the one thing she forgot, Saturday is garbage night. And I'm not sad because she left me. In fact, I drink in celebration for the good Lord up above, the freedom of this nation. All the times I bought her beer and all that money that I spent, think she'd have the common courtesy to take the trash out when she went? You think she'd have the common courtesy to take the trash out when she went?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Colton Kise. I love that.
It's a song called Trash.
Trash. That's a good song, man.
Thank you very much.
And I mentioned on my Sunday spot yesterday, had a little bit of information that we were holding back. The reason why I call you a phenomenon is your age. And, of course, you're 20 now, but you've been doing this for quite a few years, haven't you?
Yes, I've been at it for a couple years. I've been playing live since I was probably around 17 years old.
Yeah, yeah. And I loved listening to you warming up and getting the sound check.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty phenomenal.
That's a big part of it. Got to have sound check. Got to sound good.
Yeah, yeah. But so how long have you been playing guitar?
Well, I've been playing guitar since I was about 12, 13 years old. Mm-hmm. And actually, believe it or not, I started out playing Guitar Hero, which I don't know if you know what that is. It's the video game.
Yeah.
You got the plastic controller in your hand. And, one day I realized, I was like, you know what? I got so good at Guitar Hero, I was like, well, heck, if I'm good at this, I mean, it would be so much cooler if I could do the real thing.
Do the real thing, yeah.
So,
I'm curious, how was it transferring from the plastic controller to the guitar?
It was very tough.
Yeah.
For those of you guys who know me, know that I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to play guitar. I never had a lesson or anything like that. And the problem with going from 5 plastic buttons to 22 frets and 6 strings is I got into the habit of only wanting to use my index finger and my middle finger.
Yeah.
Just 2 fingers, because you could easily do that.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of tough to play guitar solo with 2 fingers. So it definitely took a lot of time and a lot of practice, but I kind of developed my own style.
Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds great. What about the singing? Did you start singing about the same time?
Oh, the singing came probably about 3-4 years later. And I had never had intentions of doing this as a day job or doing this at all. I thought it was cool to play guitar, and the first song I ever learned how to sing was Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison Blues.
Oh yeah,
and that kind of started started rolling the ball a little bit, and it just kind of exploded from there. I just kind of went on and started learning all kinds of different music, and here we are.
Yeah, during the sound check before the show here, Colton and I were having a lot of fun. Here's a guy, and at my age I call him a kid because anybody 30 years or younger at my age is a kid. And he started strumming the riff from Listen to the Music, Doobie Brothers. Yeah, so I had to start singing it.
You had a little jam session.
Had a jam session going, and then we went from there to Black Crowes.
Yeah,
Talks to Angels, and so I'm very impressed with your repertoire, with your taste. You're not stuck in one genre.
No.
Even though you're wearing Keith Whitley shirt.
Oh yeah.
And of course, in my book, he's one of the greatest songwriters ever to live, bar none.
I agree.
It doesn't matter what genre. My belief is a good song is a good song, no matter where it comes from.
That's right.
And so. Anyway, I'm just very impressed at the variety, that you draw from.
Well, that's the funny thing, Yes, if you come see me live, I play country music. That's what I do, traditional country music.
Yeah.
I actually grew up not listening to country at all. I grew up on Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, AC/DC. And when I first started playing guitar, that's what I did. I learned all the heavy stuff. I had the distortion in my amp and learned all those guitar solos and stuff. And I still love all that stuff. I still listen to it. But I remember the first time I ever heard Keith Whitley. And, it really, something really clicked there. And I've been a super fan ever since.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. And one thing that impressed me when I saw your first show at Manny and Merle, this was last year, I think it was, maybe a year and a half ago, and your family was there to support you, and that was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How
have they been through this whole thing?
Oh, they've been super supportive. Of course, starting out, you have to understand without knowing how to play guitar, without having a lesson, without having a vocal coach or nothing like that, don't quit your day job was
Right.
was a pretty big thing around my household. Now it's kind of cool because this is my day job. This is I play 5 nights a week, sometimes even more, and this is how I pay the bills. So it's pretty cool to kind of see that transition over the past couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. That's really cool that you're able to pay the bills. It's a lot of people out there are jealous of you.
Not many people my age can actually say that, and I don't look at it as a job. I mean, I never get tired of it. I love playing music for people, and it just so happens I am extremely blessed that I am able to do what I love and make a living at it. You know,
that's great. You are listening to Beyond the Music here on 100.9 WCHQ Louisville. I'm Gavin Castor. My host, or my guest, is Mr. Colton Kise, in case you just tuned in. And you really are. Of course, you've been on Cumberland Country, I'm sure more than once.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. CJ is a big fan of yours, and he's the one, when he booked you at Manny and Merle, and he texted me, he said, "You've got to come down here and see this guy."
I actually met him. He was working at a local music shop, and I was in there with my grandpa, just sitting around playing guitar, and he just happened to hear me play, and he said, "You're pretty good," and he said, "Do you write anything?" And I played him maybe a verse and a half of a song I've written. He didn't even let me get through with it. Yeah. And he said, "Man, you've got to come down to the studio." Yeah. And so we've been good friends ever since.
Yeah.
So
yeah, CJ, he's a great guy. He and I are really best buds. And do you remember the song you played him?
I do remember the song I played him.
How about playing that for us?
It's a little song I wrote. It's called "Fire at Will."
Fire at Will. Colton Kise here on Beyond the Music on 100.9 WCHQ.
Teenage boy with 4 more brothers, drunk for dad, one hell of a mother. Life started out as good as gold. We burned a trail out through the woods, a Winston or 2 if we could. It didn't take too long to grow old. Papa bit the dust too soon after. 20 years I'm still confused why 89 was such a bad year. The winter storm took all we had, the cattle, the garden, and my dad. Death knocked on the door and we answered. And when my time comes, I'll be lying still. Bite the bullet, the dust, and the thrill. Fire at will. God's a giver and a taker. Your best friend or a random stranger just walking down the street. In my case, he's the other end, a hollow point loaded full of my sins, a 45 cocked back ready to kill. And when my time comes, I'll be lying still. I'll bite the bullet, the dust, and the thrills. Fire at will. A pre-dug hole and a blindfold, I get down on my knees. Smoke fills the air with a blast through the trees. I look the devil in the eyes and I smile and I say, I hope you saved a first-class seat beside my old man. I'll meet my father very soon in hell, 'cause drinking and smoking will kill. Fire at will. Whoa. Fire at will. Fire at will.
100.9 WCHQ Louisville. Mr. Colton Kise live here in the studio on Beyond the Music. Beautiful stuff, man.
That's actually an older song of mine. It's probably been about three and a half years since I wrote that.
Yeah, that's why CJ has called you an old soul.
Yeah, I hear that from a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm curious where you get your perspective. Is it from conversations, growing up around your family?
Honestly, I really couldn't even tell you. A lot of people ask me, where do you get your inspirations for your songs? I mean, what it boils down to is I'm only 20 years old. I haven't lived yet. I mean, all this stuff I'm singing about, I haven't even experienced.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, it really just sort of comes to me. I mean, I know that's odd to say, but that's how it is.
Oh, well, yeah, that's how songwriting works a lot of times. You're just a channel, and they just come at you. And one of favorites, and of course we'll have you play it later on, Crazy Old Man. People will appreciate, our listeners will appreciate what we're talking about, because it's pretty amazing someone your age writing songs like this. I mean...
well, you're making me blush now.
Yeah. Well, we're glad we were able to fit you in too.
Oh yeah, me too.
You're a busy guy, and my apologies to your manager, Tanya Rhodes, in there. You and I kind of worked together.
I know.
On this. We met up at Manny and Merle, and July 25th. Yeah, that'll work.
Yep, kind of plugged it in the calendar.
Yeah. Oh, she's a sweetie though.
She is. She's a good woman.
Yeah. So there's that. I guess that takes kind of the burden off you as far as scheduling and stuff.
Oh yeah, she. Before Tanya came along, I had played a whole lot down in. I'm from Glasgow, Kentucky, and I had played a whole lot down there locally, and in the Bowling Green area, but I'd never really been outside of that realm. I played a couple places, but what it comes down to is you got to know people. You got to have contacts, and I first met Tanya, and she she really liked my music, and I've been working with her for the past probably about 2 years now. Bless her heart.
Wow.
And but she's completely. Taking that burden off my shoulders of booking my shows, and I'll admit it, I'm kind of a procrastinator, so that was probably a good thing that she did that. But yeah, she's a great person, and she does me very well, and I look forward to working with her in the future for sure.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm going to backtrack a little bit. You played that song for CJ at the music store. I could see how he gets spotted. I mean, holy crap.
Yeah.
If the way you're picking and everything. Was there anything that, we've already discussed that though. You've taken all that you've learned from Jimmy Page and Slash and all these others and developed your own style.
Yeah, that's where I really started out. And I went, I go, just like every teenager, I go through phases, but my phases were kind of unique. I'd go through a Led Zeppelin phase, then I'd go through I went through a really big Stevie Ray Vaughan phase, where I learned, and I was in that phase for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, his music is just so great. I do a lot of traditional country. I do about 85% of my set is traditional country, and then later on in the set, I'll throw some classic rock, some Bob Seger, Fleetwood Mac stuff in there, and then I'll also do a little bit of blues as well. So kind of a full mixture, of songs, everything but rap, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that's a great thing to know.
Yeah.
Because I know you're billed as a country music singer, but it's good to know that you can play to everybody in the crowd, because people would come, just to eat dinner, and you're basically musical wallpaper. Oh, he's country, and all of a sudden they hear
And then I
Bob
throw
Seger.
out I actually do a couple Zeppelin tunes and a Pink Floyd song as well. So there's definitely something for everybody.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's great. Anybody who wants to find out who you are, where do they go?
Well, really my biggest where I post a lot of my things is of course on Facebook. I have a personal page. You can friend that, but I strongly recommend going to my musician page. I have an actual fan page on there you can go to on Facebook, and it just type in Colton Kise music, and I'll be right on there. So.
Yeah, great. And if you go on the Beyond the Music page, I posted the link to it.
Okay, cool.
As well. And if you're in your car and you need something to do, we are streaming live on YouTube live stream right now. Go to the Crescent Hill Radio webpage, WCHQ, or Beyond the Music Facebook page, and the link is right there. So you can click right on it and see us chatting about on here. In case you're tuning in, you are listening to Beyond the Music here on 100.9 WCHQ. I'm Gavin Castor. My guest is Mr. Colton Kise. And I think the song everybody's talking about was Crazy Old Man. I first heard you play it at Manny and Merle. Absolutely blew me away. And so I played it on my Sunday spot yesterday to feature the show tonight.
Oh, cool.
And my good friend John Bouchon messaged me, a Vietnam veteran. It really touches him a lot, and he went so far as to shoot me an email right before the show. He said, "I hope I caught you in time that you can catch the. Can you have Colton play Crazy Old Man?" So,
well, of course we can do that for him.
Absolutely. This is Colton Kise here on Beyond the Music, 100.9 WCHQ. This is Crazy Old Man.
I spent my last dime on a 6-string and a tank of gas. I spent the later half of my life underneath that overpass. And war is hell. And Jim Beam, he could only do so much. And I replay the story of my life and my dreams, brush off the dust. Well, I've done my fair share of serving. I left my mind in Vietnam. That's not the way they see it. An old wrong wrinkled hand. Every day, Uncle Sam, I'm just a crazy old man. Well, I got the divorce papers sometime in Saigon. I came home to a memory and half my stuff gone. Between the girl and the bank, Lord knows there wasn't much left. So I loaded up the Chevy, headed for the sunset. Well, I've done my fair share of serving. I left my mind in Vietnam. That's not the way they see it. Long hair and wrinkled hands, and everyday Uncle Sam. I'm just a crazy old man. With holes in my shoes and my fair share of booze. Times it seems like all I am.
Charity Radcliffe and Nick. Right. They're a power trio, and they sound really phenomenal. I might crash that show. But tonight we're focusing on Colton, and I'd like to know where I guess this song is one of those that just came at you and came out of you, isn't it?
Well, you can remember the exact place I was when I wrote that song. You know, it's just something that's kind of in my mind, and this just happened to be at my grandparents' house. It was about 10:30 at night, and they had gone to bed, and I was just sitting on the couch and had wrote this song. I've always my whole family's always been very military oriented. I've got a younger brother right now who's actually a Marine. He's stationed out at Camp Lejeune and out in North Carolina. And anyway, I've always really tried to give back to a lot of the military groups down there locally. I play a lot of different events.
Yeah.
And they you know, the Rolling Thunder and different groups like that, the POW MIA, they have a lot of different events that go on, and I always feel really strongly about that, you know, about that cause. And anyway, that's so yeah, that song was about a homeless Vietnam veteran.
Wow. Was this a veteran that you knew of in real life? Or?
No, it was not.
Yeah, fictional character, but you were able to draw on your experiences with playing the VFWs.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful tune. It really
thank
is.
You very much.
Really. I'm curious, you know, your voice, you have an incredible voice, too.
Well, there you go again, making me blush.
Well, and was there any, did you have anybody in mind when you were teaching, learning to sing, who were trying to mimic? Obviously not Robert Plant, but
no, obviously. When I first started singing, and even my parents and grandparents would say it, I would try way too hard to sound exactly like, you know, I'd sing a Jamie Johnson song and I'd want to have that, you know, have that deep growl, and I tried way too hard trying to copy exactly, and they would always tell me, you know, you just sing in your own voice, and it took me probably about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I finally realized, I said, hey, I'm not Jamie Johnson, I'm Colton Kise, you know, and kind of found my own voice and its own uniqueness.
Yeah. Well, we know you're super duper busy, 7 nights this week. I shared your post on the Beyond the Music page. Let's see, of course, tonight you're here.
That's right.
Tomorrow is a farmer's market in Glasgow. Wow.
Yep, little hometown.
That's great. Gondolier's Italian Restaurant in Bowling Green, Porta Out on Campbell Lane in Bowling Green. Beef O'Brady's Hillview. So you'll be back here in South Louisville.
I'll be back here Friday night.
Yeah, and then the Goat in Louisville. That's a highbrow place, man.
I know. I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't ever played there before, so it'll be my debut performance.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna love you. I can guarantee you that. And then back at Bowling Green with Spillway Bar.
Yeah.
So that's great, man. I'm glad. success is measured in many ways, and that's one of the ways I measure it. You're busy, and that's a great thing.
I try to stay busy, and try to keep people pleased everywhere I go. I try to kind of give it my best. As far as playing and stuff, and here and there. Each place I play, I always gain that little group of fans. But after playing so many places, it really starts to add up. You get, kind of a sort of a following. Each place you go, there's always people there waiting to hear you, and they bring friends, and it's really great.
That's great. Building that fan base.
Yep, that's right.
That's what it's about. Even though, you hate to think of it as, all the marketing and stuff, but it is a business. And a business means people and building that fan base, and you're going about it right, man. Right here in Central Kentucky, and all over the place.
Oh, I live in the best spot. I'm in, like I said, Glasgow.
You're right in the crossroads, man.
I am the exact halfway point between Louisville and Nashville.
Yeah,
and I'm perfect. About 45 minutes from E-Town, so I'm in a pretty darn good location.
Have you played Nashville yet?
I have. I've been down there. It's been a while. I used to go down there all the time and hit all the open mics, the Bluebird and the Silver Dollar and Douglas Corner, and a couple other places down there. It's been a while since I've been down there though. Yeah. I've been so busy up here, and working on the demo and trying to get an album. And so hopefully me and Tanya need to make a trip down there sometime soon.
Yeah. Take me with you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. And that was my next question. Recording, playing so much. Do you have any set dates that you plan to get into the studio and be recording, or is this something that we just can't have to, find a slot here and there?
Well, right now, probably about 5-6 months ago, I went down to Atlanta and met with a producer down there and recorded just a demo, me and my guitar, 15 original songs, and they turned out absolutely amazing. As much as I would love to just release that right now and start selling them, we've really got to pace ourselves.
Right.
I think here really soon, probably within the next week, I'm gonna release a demo with about 3, maybe 4 songs tops on it of those songs that I recorded down there, and that'll be kind of a teaser to the album. We haven't begun work on the album yet, but we hope to soon.
Yeah, and that's the key to marketing, and that's a very common mistake that people who are new to music, as soon as that CD comes in the mail, they're release it right now, get it out there, and
you got to pace yourself.
You got to pace yourself, and all you have to do is listen to the radio stations. They get the pre-release 3 or 4 months before the official album release, and you tease the public for those 3 or 4 months with one, killer song or 2 killer songs. Coming up. This was on their forthcoming album, and so that's what I try to tell everybody. Don't have your CD release party.
Yeah.
I've had them schedule. I've seen them schedule it the day that disc maker says it will be arriving at your house on this day.
Yeah,
like,
that's
wait. They got to be in your house for 2 or 3 months, and make some, send out a few singles. Yeah.
You got to get that hype going.
You got to get the buzz going. Right. So keep that in mind, listeners. Colton is doing it right. That's great. And you're building that fan base. And what's great about that is I'm sure a lot of them, you've been asked it a lot, do you have a CD out?
Oh, yeah. I always, and I'm almost disappointed to turn them away, but I do have a lot of, you got your CD yet? You got your CD? But people don't realize it's a pretty, you can't just snap your fingers and get in the studio. It takes time and it takes money.
It does.
For sure. But I'm like I said, I'm trying to pace myself and not get not get too jumpy, but I'm pretty excited for when I can actually get in the studio and start working on it.
Yeah, yeah. Because, I mean, listening to a really, really well-produced album, it takes months.
Yeah.
Sometimes 14, 15, 16 months.
For sure.
And people don't realize that. They just see the finished product hit the shelf, and it's like, oh, yeah, here it is, instant. And it's not instant, There's a lot that goes into it. And I got to go refer back. That's the old soul in you, right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. You're patient, laid back, and playing your tunes, but you've got that marketing mentality. That's a great thing, Colton.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. You're listening to Beyond the Music here on 100.9 WCHQ. I'm Gavin Castor. Colton Kise is my guest. Beyond the Music is on every Monday night, 8:30 to 9:30. And my co-host is Charity Radcliffe. We do a rotation, and once in a while we'll crash each other's shows when there's a really good, cool guest. Not that you're not a really cool guest, but... and next week, Charity will have Season at Sea as her guest, so I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot of their tunes being played this week on the playlist. How about another song, Colton?
We'll do that for you. My grandparents really wanted me to play this song. This is one I wrote. It's called South Flight.
Colton Kise here on Beyond the Music.
She walked into the kitchen on a Friday night, said, "Baby, we're both leaving and I don't want to fight." I said, "Girl, are you crazy? Is where you want to go?" She said, "We're headed up north to New York City. I bought us an apartment, man, is it pretty? It's right on the outskirts of Central Park where all the lights glow. And would my baby, she don't know. But I'm gonna buy me a plane ticket way down south where that black water rolls and the asphalt runs out. Don't know how you are, how you're doing, but I'm doing just fine. Lord, I know you're probably thinking I'm as sick as a dog while I'm busy getting lost in this Louisiana fog. I'll tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, I can't stand seeing them big city lights. I knew when we crossed the Mason-Dixon line, there was no turning back with that baby of mine. I thought to myself, what was I? The idea finally asphalt.
WCHQ. I'm starting to learn that. I call it Texas Shuffle on Pride. I wanted to ask you that. Is that how you got it? Learning Pride and Joy? Or
yeah,
was that something
actually, Pride and Joy was one of the really early first songs that I learned.
Yeah.
And it took me so long to get that down. But once I finally got it, it was so yeah. I guess I do sort of incorporate that, into my style of playing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
can't just get up there and
yeah. Is that something that you just learned as you were learning guitar? Is that something that you were, a lot of people are.
Well, once I.
And of course, it's a very nice guitar you got too. It sounds amazing through the sound system. Of course, Colin helps out a lot. He makes it sound super great.
Super awesome.
Thank you, Colin. There were many times, yes, cheering himself on. There were many times I've just listened to in the car. I was listening to Homegrown Radio Hour one time, Tara Bassett, on Wednesday nights when CJ was having his Manny and Merle open mics, and Ashley Ledrick was on, and it was her keyboard and her voice, and I thought she was playing a CD. It sounded that good. So thanks, Colin, for all the great sounds, man. And we'll be archiving the show on SoundCloud tomorrow, so be sure to keep up with the Beyond the Music page, and I'll be sharing that link to the SoundCloud tomorrow. Usually posts about afternoon, 1 o'clock, something like that. So.
Cool.
All righty. Got a question from a fan of yours.
Uh-oh.
Is he still driving that red Camaro, his pride and joy?
Yes, he is. Actually, it is currently parked in Tanya's garage. Tanya lives in E-Town, and I drove up to her place, and she decided that we could just ride up in her car. So I don't think she likes the no AC and leaky T-tops, to be honest. But yes, I still have the car. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of that thing. I love it for sure.
Yeah, and the other question was, how many miles do you drive a week in that thing?
Well, see, I've got two cars. I've got the Camaro, then I've got the beater car. And if you keep up with me on Facebook, I put a post about it a couple days ago. It's my $900 car. It doesn't have AC either.
Yeah.
The hood, the clear coat is peeling off of the hood, and that's kind of one of my fun little games. Driving down the interstate, I just watch all the flakes of clear coat peel off the hood.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I really couldn't tell you how many miles I drove. I guess I've never really sat down and actually figured it up. But I tell you that I have been known to bum some rides from my grandparents.
Yeah,
because they go to a lot of my shows. So
yeah.
I'll hitch a ride with them. But you better believe that Grandma wants her gas money at the end of the night. So she always goes straight for that tip jar at the end and gets her gas money out.
Gets her gas money out. Yeah. You and I could trade some stories. I drive a beater car too.
Well, there you go. You
22-year-old beater car, but it does have AC. So I got
suck,
that. Then. Well, you got to bring your car up here. I'll fix that AC for you.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, yeah. As much as you travel, you got to have that, man.
I know.
No kidding. In case you're tuning in, my guest tonight is Mr. Colton Kise, 20-year-old phenomenon. And you've only been playing, 6 years on guitar and singing for 4?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's when you know you have the gift, when people can make that much advancement in that short of a time, And I've been around music all my life, and when I see something that, you've advanced in 6 years' time, you've advanced 15 years, 15, 20 years. There are a lot of people who have played 15, 20 years and still have not reached that level of guitar playing and that level of singing.
Well, I'm very, like I said, I'm
it's
very...
your passion.
Yep, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's great. And it's great that you're able to feed that passion, Well,
the funny thing is, I'll play like 5, 6, 7 days a week, and when I come home at night, I sit down on the recliner. What do? I pick up my guitar. I'll try writing a song or just sit there and play on it. It's I never get bored. As much as I've played, as many shows as I've played, I never once said, "Man, I just don't feel like it." I love what I do.
I got to ask you this: do you have more than one guitar?
I do. I have, of course, when I first started playing, I played electric guitar.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 or 3 electrics, but I'll be honest with you, they've been in their case for probably about 3 years.
Wow.
And have not been touched ever since I got this is a Martin D35.
Yeah.
And this is This is my pride and joy. Right next to the Camaro, and then next the girlfriend. Of course, I gotta mention her. So
and not necessarily in that order, girlfriend.
Yeah, we'll leave that up to the listeners.
Yeah. D35. D for Dreadnought. 35 for.
It is a 3-piece. It's got the 3-piece back on it.
Yeah. Very pretty. Very pretty guitar. And we still have 12 minutes left, and we are streaming live on YouTube Live. So be sure to click on the link, which is found on Beyond the Music page, and I believe it's on Colton's page, and on the Crescent Hill Radio page. And you have other listeners, too. Great show. Thanks for having Colton on your show tonight.
Cool.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much for listening in. And once again, we want to mention your shows. We don't want to forget your shows.
Can't forget those.
That's right. Tomorrow night, you will be tomorrow, from 5 to 8 p.m., you'll be back home in Glasgow, Kentucky, for a farmer's market. And I love playing farmers markets. They're so much fun. There's
so many different kinds of people, and it's right there on the square in my little hometown, and there's a gazebo, and that's where I set up. So
nice.
it's a pretty cool little gig.
That's really cool. And then Wednesday in Bowling Green at Gondolier's Italian Restaurant, from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Thursday, you'll be at Porta Vallarta on Campbell Lane in Bowling Green from 6 to 9 p.m. Friday, you'll be back up here in South Louisville and Hillview at Beef O'Brady's doing the late night, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And then the big one is The Goat in Louisville. And one of my fans messaged me and said that their pool is open. So,
they got a pool.
They've got a pool, swimming pool. Yes.
Wow.
A really cool place. Just make sure you sit back far enough so you don't get splashed.
I know.
And that's at Saturday at the Goat from 9 to midnight, and then Spillway Bar and Grill in Bowling Green from 5 to 8 p.m. We got time for another tune if you got one.
We'll do another one for you.
Cool. You're listening to Beyond the Music here on 100.9 WCHQ Louisville. I'm Gavin Castor. My guest is Mr. Colton Kise.
Look at all the papers in the mailbox. He ain't been home in a couple weeks. Some say he died, and others say he's drunk at a bar on the outskirts of Aberdeen. Well, I myself think he's just a runner, hiding from yesterday's memories. Was it a girl that left, a dog that died, her family that turned the other cheek? Well, they don't understand him, God knows they won't, but he's gotta pay the price. It's tough to keep on trucking when you're in the truck alone. It's hard to see the truth in all the lies when you're looking through a broken man's eyes. Look at all the tall grass in the front yard. This April rain has got it high, and he's still gone like a needle in a stack. I think I finally know the reason why. It ain't the loneliness that kills him, or the silence that fills an empty house. It's the devil in his head, the whiskey on his breath, that one day is sure to take him out. Well, they don't understand him, and God knows they won't. But he's gotta pay the price. It's tough to keep on trucking when you're in the truck alone. It's hard to see the truth in all the lies until you're looking through a broken man's eyes. A couple of days went by, and then they found his truck flipped over in a ditch on Route 5. They say he died before the sun came up, with his good old friend Jim Beam by his side, as he was looking through a broken man's eyes. Look at all the papers in the mailbox. He ain't been home in a couple weeks.
.9 WCHQ Louisville. Mr. Colton Kise live here in the studio on Beyond the Music. Yeah, that old soul just keeps coming out, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I wanted to ask you, we touched on, your influences growing up in the rock and roll genre, but I haven't asked you, we touched on Keith Whitley and a few others. Who else influenced you a lot?
Well, I mean, I guess a lot of those outlaw guys, Willie Whalen and the Boys.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan of Merle Haggard. I actually, that's where we met to talk about this show, I believe, I played the Merle Haggard tribute show
That's right.
at Manny and Merle's here in downtown Louisville.
Yep.
And, Merle is he's a big influence, but definitely number one favorite of all time is Keith Whitley, for sure. He's a Kentucky boy.
Yep.
And he's just gone too soon. He was an awesome songwriter, an awesome singer. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just great. And then of course, George Jones is another one.
Absolutely.
There's so many.
Yeah. So many goes on and on.
Yeah.
But I'd say those are some really great influences.
I think it's a good start.
Yeah. I think that's where you and CJ really connected from the very start there at the music store, because he's all about the outlaw country.
Oh, yeah.
Being kind of an outlaw himself. Sorry, CJ, if you're listening. No, he's traveling and doing what he loves best, playing music, and he's all over the country right now. We wish him the best. We look forward to him coming back, kind of taking a break. It was CJ Cumberland. He hosted the Cumberland Country on the show for 3 years straight.
Wow.
And almost never missed an episode. So that's quite a bit. That's over 150 shows. I filled in for him twice, I know. But, we wish him all the best, too. We're almost at the end of the show. We got about 3 minutes left. Any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Shout out to my parents and my grandparents. I'm sure they're listening. My girlfriend, if she's listening. Mm-hmm. My Camaro is currently parked in Tanya's garage, so I don't think it's listening though. But we'll give it a shout out.
Absolutely, Colton. I've really enjoyed having you on the show. I love your tunes, and
well, I'm glad to be here. This is the first time on Beyond the Music, and I was pretty excited when you told me about it. So,
well, great. And Colton will be back here in Louisville at Beef O'Brady's on Friday night. from 9 to 12. That's the Beef O'Brady's in Hillview. There's about a half dozen
Yes,
locations.
there are many.
And I guess you could call it the big one. It's going to be at the Goat in Louisville. Poolside, I guess.
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
That's on Saturday. And we wish you all the best, man. You got a picking tune you want to take us out with? A couple of minutes?
Sure, we'll do a little Jerry Reed finger picking for you.
Sweet. And be sure to listen next week. Tune in next week. Charity will have Season at Sea as her guest. For WCHQ and Beyond the Music, I'm Gavin Castor. Thanks so much for listening. Peace to you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Flannery, and join me every Sunday at 11 a.m. for the weekly Wellness Hour, where we highlight local health practitioners. We talk about wellness, sharing some education and some tips for you to support you on your well-being journey. So every Sunday at 11 a.m., WCHQ Crescent Hill Radio 100.9.
It's 78 degrees.
It's 9:30.
Let's take a look at the WCHQ concert view for Monday, July 25th. Tonight over at